Sure. My name is Mitch Schulte, and I am a planetary scientist in the Mars Exploration Program at NASA headquarters in Washington, D.C.
To send a manned probe to the Mars.
So by understanding the geologic history of Mars, we learn a lot not just about Mars, but about Earth. And we can compare both Earth history and Mars history. And by doing that, we can learn a lot about the planets in the inner solar system because they're very similar geologically. Another aspect is that we know that Mars has probably was warmer and wetter early in its history, and it's now very cold and very dry at the surface. And so understanding that climate change also helps us understand how the climate changes here on Earth.
That the manned probe will be sent to the Mars.
Well, so NASA has plans to send people to Mars sometime in the 2030s, and the first mission will probably be orbital missions, so people won't land on the surface right away. We want to make sure we can demonstrate that the technology works, that we can send people there and bring them back. So the first missions will probably be just orbits around Mars, and then we hope to have people on the ground sometime in the 2040s.
What kind of training is being made?
Yeah, so going to Mars will be a big challenge for us because first of all, we'll be operating outside Earth's magnetic field. We'll be operating outside of where humans are comfortable operating in terms of the gravity, because the gravity on Mars is about a third of what it is here on Earth. So it'll be a lot easier to get around. The mass will be a lot lighter, so they'll be able to carry more things on the surface with them. So they're training for all of those kinds of things. The other thing, of course, is that we need to make sure that they have spacesuits that can withstand the environment on Mars. The Mars atmosphere is very thin and there's no oxygen for them to breathe. So they'll have to take everything with them. And actually, when they're out on the surface working, they'll have to be in fairly cumbersome suits. We hope to make them not too bulky that they can't work very well, but they'll still have to be pretty well protected from the harsh environment on the surface of Mars. So those are the kinds of things they're training for. In addition, the trip to Mars and then back from Mars will be really, really long. And so they'll be in space isolated with just their fellow crewmates for a pretty long time. And so we want to understand how that affects them as well.
Have a desire to get to the Mars?
Well, so I think humans have always just been curious about what's out there. And so I think it's in our nature to explore. That's why people first left Europe and started voyaging across the oceans to look for different places, just because they're curious. I also think that people really want to know if there is life beyond Earth. And I think this is one of the things that NASA has really brought to the public's attention. And I think the people, not just in the United States, but around the world, are excited about the idea that we're actually going to go look for evidence in the rocks that life might have existed on places like Mars. There are other bodies in the solar system like Europa where we think life might have originated as well. And so we're also exploring sending missions to the outer solar system to look for that too.